Hey everybody, AJ here. I'm going to be talking about the second bio node and the boss bio node in Doom 3. Quick note on the team. So, of course, Web Warriors, they should all be level 85, G15. Um, the ISOs, as you can see, I think most people know this, but Raider across the board is fine. A lot of people like Miles Striker, including me. And I do prefer Spider-Man to be Skirmisher because he does occasionally have trouble landing debuffs, but you can also have him Raider. I also recommend taking Ghost Spider to max levels, so mine is eventually going to be level 90, and the reason is that she is responsible for a huge chunk of the team's damage, so she gets a lot of value out of those additional levels. Okay, and I will talk about the first bio node in a different video, but we're going to assume that that is finished. We're going to the second node now. So one thing to know with the Web Warriors is that the turn meter, as soon as enemies start taking turns, the turn meter is going to change for you, or I should say the turn order is going to change for you, because if you dodge, then you get extra turn meter. If you don't dodge, then you don't. So things are never going to happen exactly the same way. So it's really important to know what your goals are for each wave, rather than simply being able to follow a series of steps. So again, this is the second bio node. Our goals for the first wave are to control or kill Beast, Jubilee, and Psylocke. Now, um, while Jubilee is alive, if Beast goes under half-life, he's going to get energy and turn meter. So how do we deal with that? We're going to ability block him. Jubilee, if she goes, then she's going to stun somebody and slow the whole team. That's a problem. And then Psylocke is going to take all the debuffs on the enemy side and throw them back onto our team. So we're going to aim to interrupt those three actions. Meanwhile, we're going to have to just kind of take whatever the Infinity Watch throws at us. Okay, so Miles here, we're going to rewind Jubilee to ensure that she doesn't get a turn. Ghost Spider Special to ability block Beast. Okay, so that Ghost Spider chain took us all the way over to Psylocke, who had a counter. She countered Ghost Spider, and Ghost Spider countered her back and just crushed her. So that's lucky and unusual. It does mean that we have an almost dead Psylocke, which is going to help, but it's not required. Okay, so Beast got turn meter because he went under half-life, so that means he gets to go, but he's ability blocked. Nothing happens except a blind on Scarlet Spider, which is a little annoying. However, he can still be useful because Psylocke has a counter and evade, so if we hit her, she's going to counter us, which is not going to matter because we have an evade, and that means Ghost Spider is going to counter her, removing her evade. So, point being, we can still do something productive with this turn. Now, we've got Spider Punk up. We just want to deal some damage. We're going to throw the ult out, hit everybody. Psylocke is gone. Beast is gone because he countered us and got countered again. Okay, I'm going to be using the Spider-Man special here. I could have used it really anywhere, but I decided I wanted to make sure Jubilee got some damage. Could really have chosen anybody for that. Okay, there goes Phyla. Note that because I used Spider-Punk Ultimate, the whole team has trauma, which means that the Phyla special cannot remove their debuffs. Super useful. Um, Also note that Ghost Spider has taken a lot of damage here. Again, there's just nothing we can do about that. If your Ghost Spider is smaller, I recommend putting her in the corner next to Miles to avoid splash damage. But part of the challenge of this node and why it does require a lot of investment is that you just have to be able to tank through these Infinity Watch characters. Okay, we've gotten over to Ghost Spider's turn, and we're going to spread all this stuff onto the Infinity Watch because these three characters had revive, but then they took their turns, they had immunity. They took their turns, they lost their immunity, which means they can now be slowed. Again, my goal is not really to kill them right away, but just to take them out of the fight. So the Ghost Spider ult is going to do that. Okay, phase 2, we've got Magic, Colossus, and Phoenix. So we've got to deal with them. So first, Colossus, we need to disrupt him because otherwise he will taunt when either of these two drop under 50%. And the way that we're going to do that is with Miles' ultimate. That is the only ability that can do it because Colossus gets a ton of extra focus when he has defense up, but Miles gets like 100,000 extra focus, or so I should say, Colossus gets a ton of resistance when he has defense up. Miles gets like 100,000 extra focus or something when he uses ult. So we're going to use Miles ult for that. For Phoenix, we want to either slow her or stun her or ability block her, and for Magic, we just want to kill her. So those are our respective goals. As this goes on, we'll deal some additional damage to the Infinity Watch back here, but that's not really our priority. Okay, so this should be a Spider-Punk chain. Now this ability again, Miles ult must be available, must target Colossus. If this doesn't happen, you're going to have a tough time this node. Okay, so Colossus is effectively out of the fight. The only way he can get rid of this disrupt is if Phoenix is allowed to use her special. We're going to prevent that by slowing her with the Scarlet Spider ultimate, which does put slow on the target. Now it turns out that Spider-Man also had his ult available, so I'm able to go ahead and stun her after that. I didn't know that, so I figured I would just be safe and use the slow. So now at this point, um, Phoenix is out of the fight, Colossus is useless because he's disrupted, and so now it's time to beat on Magic. Okay, now we got a death pool. And at some point we need to start attacking Deathpool. Scarlet Spider Basic to put slow, defense down, offense down on Deathpool. Note that Deathpool clears buffs on her basic and her special, but not her ultimate. And since she just spawned, she's going to try to use her ultimate, which means that she's not really a threat, but I'm still going to attack her because I don't want to deal with her later, and because she has a lot of life. So at this point, just kind of where the node is at, we've won, and our goal is just to minimize the damage that we take. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes you're going to take a beating at the end of this node, just because these Infinity Watch characters basically have to be allowed to hit us. But we will at least be guaranteed to make it through. So Spider-Man special to slow everybody. I decide to go ahead and just take care of Phoenix now. Going to ability block her with Ghost Spider special so she can't do the lifesteal, but if she did, it wouldn't matter. We would just kill her after that. And now Adam has offense up. He absolutely wallops my Spider-Man. Nothing to be done about that, but he will survive. And if he doesn't, whatever. Okay, so we made it through the node. Took a little damage. We'll have to heal Spider-Man, but that's okay. And we're into the boss. So just to recap, so our goal for the last node was to control, kill Beast, Psylocke, and Jubilee on the first wave, and then the X-Men on the second wave. This one, our goal at the start is to make sure Maw does not get to his turn, and to, by the same token, make sure that Phyla does not get to her turn, because if she does, she will clear debuffs on the team. So, I can contribute to both of those goals by using the Scarlet ult on Phyla. The target will be slowed, and meanwhile, Maw had his immunity removed, which means I can now rewind him and slow him. And this wave is pretty much handled. Now, if you had a smaller team, you could use the Ghost Spider ultimate here. I wouldn't recommend it because the next waves are worse, and I think we're going to want it for the next waves. But again, that's an option here. I'm just going to go ahead and hit somebody. Okay, so now even if they did get the debuff clear, it wouldn't matter because they have the trauma. We still don't really want Phyla to go. She'll barrier the team. It's annoying. I go ahead and use the Spider-Man stun on Surfer. You don't have to do that. He does have high resistance. If your Spider-Man's not a skirmisher, there's a good chance that you'll be resisted. Um, and if he does get to go, you will have a full set of evades if you use the opener that we just used. So he's going to miss. So again, it's not the end of the world if Surfer is allowed to take his turn, but I decided to go ahead and stun him. Okay. Now this is another situation where, so I'm just still attempting to prevent Phyla taking a turn. I'm going to use the Miles ultimate and just wipe this wave out. If my team were smaller, I would do this more slowly. Like I would probably basic Phyla to remove that speed up, and then I would just knock these guys down one by one, just so I have some more time to gain turn meter and fill my cooldowns. But the way it happens, just go ahead and ult it and move on to the next wave. Okay, now this is our first real challenge here. We have an Icarus, who is our #1 priority. We know that there's a Cersei on the last wave. We cannot have Icarus and Cersei both up at the same time. Cannot happen. Secondarily, we have a T'Challa, who can do a lot of damage. However, his ult can be dodged, but we would rather he not get to go. He also steals buffs from his neighbors, so that can be a problem. And then Cull is going to want to taunt eventually. You can't disrupt Cull because when he uses his taunt, he clears debuffs. So the only way to prevent Cull from taunting is to ability block him. Um, Instead, we're just going to try to get our business done before it's Cull's turn. So Spider-Man Special. We're using the Scarlet Spider chain here, the basic, rather than the special because the basic is going to rebound and hit twice. Now, unfortunately, Icarus, once you hit him under 40%, he's going to clear all his debuffs and full heal. So we basically just have to kill him again. We're going to keep beating on him. Now, if Icarus does get to go, it sucks, but it's not irrecoverable as long as Cersei is not out. So um, if you can't one-shot this node, what you should do is as soon as Icarus spawns, just attack him with everything and keep attacking him. It's much better to fight Icarus and die on this wave than to leave Icarus up, kill some of these people, and have Cersei drop, and then you have to deal with them together, or the next person to attack has to deal with them together. So one way or another, everything has to go into Icarus on this wave, even if you're not able to one-shot. Okay, so now I have Ghost Spider Ultimate up. Let's go back just a moment so we can see that. So I haven't used Ghost Spider Ultimate because I decided not to use it on the first wave. This wave is harder, I save it for this wave, and now it's going to just absolutely destroy this wave. Now, it's convenient that there's like offense down and heal block and all this stuff here. All that matters is we just need a defense down and a slow. So that could happen from Scarlet Spider Basic. That could happen from um, from Spider-Man Special. There are a lot of ways to get that. And again, it's fine if it doesn't do this much damage for you. I just got all crits. That was really lucky. Even if it doesn't happen that way, it's fine. It's kind of better because you'll just get more time to refill your cooldowns and such. But it did kill everybody. Now the fight's basically over. We're going to do the same thing with Cersei. Um, she might eventually get to go, but again, it's not going to be fatal because there's no Icarus around to combo with her. And this is the last node, so I don't really care if I lose anybody at this point as long as I'm able to finish the node. And so we'll just go ahead and dump everything into her. But so, again, the basic principles for this node. First wave, um, you definitely want to control Maw. The best way to do that is to remove his immunity with Scarlet Spider Ultimate and then to rewind him or ability block him or something like that. Um, Phyla, you also need to control unless you're going to use Spider-Punk Ultimate, which will put trauma on the whole team so they can't have their debuffs removed. but it's easy enough also just to control Phyla 2. Second wave, again, everything into Icarus. We just have to kill him, and once he's dead, then we're pretty much home free to deal with the last wave. And this will go on, but we can end the video here. Okay, thanks everybody, take care.